club soccer wins and losses seem to matter more than like summer baseball.
I mean, they matter at a higher level, probably. I think if you want to get into a tournament,
Yeah.
right, then they matter. Otherwise, you're done right now for girls soccer. So
For like club stuff.
Yeah. So it's either you're the top 3 in your bracket and you move on to a tournament, or you're not and you're done.
So that's like one of the hilarious things about, I don't know if it's hilarious or sad about the summer baseball stuff, is it's literally just selfish baseball. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anybody,
It's for college, right? Or for getting looked at.
Any team with enough money can go play at Lake Point this weekend or next weekend, or they can get up the funds to go play the WWBA in Atlanta, and it's not a qualifier. You just have enough money, and you like. I don't want to say that it doesn't matter if you win, but it's a whole lot less important.
Yeah, I think high school baseball is a lot more important, right?
Yeah,
from winning. And losing.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. But then the regular season doesn't matter. It's
just the district tournament.
Yeah, because
you're going to make the district tournament no matter what, right?
Yeah, but our district, all 5 teams make the district tournament. I guess if there are more teams, then there could be a play-in game, or somebody might be in jeopardy of missing it. But all 5 teams make the tournament. So,
well, you either have the pride as a team to win,
yes,
right, or you don't.
Yeah, spot on. But in the big scheme of things, if everybody gets in the show, your regular season doesn't matter.
Yeah, but if you're not trained to win, if you don't have that winning mentality,
I'm with that.
You're not going to make it past game 2 in the tournament.
I don't know.
You could get hot at the right moment.
Get hot at the right time. How many times?
Pitching matters so much in baseball.
It's like it's the fact.
If you have 2 really good 1 and 2s,
yes,
then you can make it to regionals.
Yes,
right.
Yes, he who has the best pitching wins. 99% of the time in baseball.
Well, I mean that's MLB, right? Playoffs too.
Yeah, I mean
no different.
Madison Bumgarner, the greatest playoff pitcher of all time.
Yeah, what happened to that dude? He kind of fell off a little bit when he went to Arizona.
Yeah, but even at that, like he's still like gangster cowboy. He
is gangster cowboy.
Have you seen the stuff about him? He literally during his contract with Arizona was using an alias to go rodeo.
Was he really?
It's like fact.
Wow.
You can. There you go, Will. There's one of those facts.
So he didn't get reprimanded based on his contract terms for doing something outside.
Yes. So he would go. He's from North Carolina, and he's a
country boy,
small town North Carolina.
Yeah.
And he would go back home or wherever, and be like, "Yeah, I'm going to rodeo this weekend."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'd frown on that quite a bit.
So he was using an alias.
Oh yeah.
I think sports in general, right? I think from what I see on social platforms, marketing wise, they're all killing it. A lot of them are doing really well when it comes to marketing. Seeing it in college sports too.
Yeah. I think in a lot of cases you're which I mean maybe it's fun, for the sports, but all over the sports landscape, marketing wins. I mean, NASCAR drivers have their own marketing guy.
Yeah.
Right. That sits there and runs social for them. So, there's a lot of drivers out there that, you can usually tell the ones that aren't running their own social,
Yeah.
Deion Sanders, a good example. I mean, he's the best marketer for the NCAA right now that there is. And he's just created so much buzz around it. Right or wrong, whether you love him or hate him, like you still take note of it.
It's household.
Yeah.
Household name.
Yeah.
The same
One,
with,
he's already a household name. 2, he's doing things that other people.
Well, he has millions of followers on his own social, right?
Yeah. He's just.
I've never watched college women's basketball until this year. And I think Caitlin with Iowa did an amazing job to like really bring that around. And I think it was the highest viewership they've ever had in women's basketball. And it's just, you know, an individual or a team, and then, you know, the competition between another team, and it's you know, their bout with LSU, their bout with these other,
it's like good versus
teams.
Evil.
Totally.
A little bit like that. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So anyways, today we're going to discuss a little bit about the power of marketing. Mm-hmm. We brought what I think is an expert in the industry from a marketing perspective, Mark Scrivner. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I met you, thinking back on when we met the first time and working with you, I think it was probably 12 years ago or so, maybe a little bit longer. I think that was when you were just getting started, or a year or two into SnapShot, right? You were over in Cummins Station. That was your first office, I believe, right?
It was our second
office. Yeah. Okay. Maybe you were just moving to that office.
Moved in,
and you needed internet and stuff. So I helped them, you know, get services set up. So, you know, you were in there excited, energetic about, you know, the company growing and what you guys were doing in Nashville. So, but 12 years later, right? You're in East Nashville now. You have a different spot, but how many people do you guys have now?
We've got 25 right now, with about 4 additional hires that we're making right now. So we're definitely seeing some growth. But,
that's awesome.
You know, the business pivoted quite a bit over the years and through COVID. And so it's, as marketing has changed quite a bit since we started the business too. And you know, just trying to stay ahead of it and get the right people on the team that can take us really to the next level.
Yeah. Are you seeing, from a marketing perspective, curious to know, are you seeing companies still want to do business majority with local businesses like yourself, or are these national marketing firms kind of taking over a little bit?
You know, I mean, the big firms, I mean, they have a foothold in that they're going to work with brands all across the nation, you know, and they can support it. What we're seeing now is that these big firms, these like, you know, like we have Caterpillar dealers all across the United States. There's actually none in Tennessee that we're working with currently.
Really?
And we've got clients in the behavioral health space that range from Florida to San Diego to Seattle. And there's, you know, we've got some in Middle Tennessee, but I mean, it really, the place doesn't matter anymore. And really what we're seeing with, you know, big companies is they're looking for very specific marketing needs, people that are experts in certain areas. And instead of hiring the big agency, they may hire 1 or 2 or 3 small agencies that kind of work together and collaborate and create the best results versus, you know, paying the big dollars for really getting the same type of output.
Yeah.
So they might contract with 2 or 3 local companies, you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Or
so like you might be working in conjunction with another marketing company down the street?
Yeah, or it may be another marketing company in Chicago that's small, or it may be another marketing company in Denver.
Yeah.
That, you know, and it just really like depends on the client and their needs. And
more of a boutique feel, customized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons why we started the NexGen podcast was to try to market a little bit more, right? Try to get in front of another audience that we haven't touched before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in 2024 today, if you're not marketing in some aspect, right, you're getting behind, right? So I know that's I don't know what your pitch is and what you talk to companies about, but from a video standpoint, a social media standpoint, I think it's a must, right? Especially for the next level of consumers coming up.
It's all about like content marketing, like lead generation, you know, filling the funnel, just the thought leadership that you put into your business. It is all just very important. We launched as a video production first company, and we grew, you know, to about 30 employees. We started in 2010, and that was when video was just really becoming heavy on the web, and everybody wanted a video for their homepage, their site, or, you know, whatever marketing effort. And, you know, we scaled it quite a bit there. And really looking back, that was the beginning of content marketing. And now it's not just about producing a video, it's about how many uses can you get out of that video, like, so a video could be cut up, 25 different ways, and we're going to serve it out for, Google ads. We're going to put it out on social media. We're going to put it out in an email campaign, whatever it is, on the landing page to kind of tell the story. So it's still, video is a very powerful like medium, but it's also, in conjunction with, email and written blogs and, that other content marketing
do it all,
that you do.
Yeah, I think one of the things that strikes me about it too, like, we're going to eventually post this podcast, The Power of Marketing, right? And it's not just going to be maybe impactful tomorrow when we post it, right? Or a few weeks down the road. It could be impactful 10 years from now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Once it's on social media, right? It could get views for 10 years.
Definitely.
Yeah. Right?
That's the power of, if you stay consistent. Most podcasters, I think I read a story the other day that the most they produce is 19 episodes, and everybody quits at 19.
19 is the average.
And I think like it's important to know that it's a long-term game that you have to play, and it's many years of producing this content. And what I've seen with most of the popular podcasts out there is they ground for 3 or 4 years, and all of a sudden somebody took notice, and you've got all that content out there. So a lot of people go back and watch past old episodes. So then, their downloads they spike, their, viewership spikes, and, the audience. And now it's not just audio podcast, it's video as well.
Yeah.
And so their YouTube, it starts catching an algorithm with YouTube, and you start to see that spike. But it takes a long time, and a lot of people, they put out their first podcast, second podcast, and they go, we only got 100 viewers. Like, why? Or 100 downloads. Why? Yeah. Why aren't we getting more? Like,
because it's your friends that just downloaded it.
That's right.
You got to get past your friends. You got to wait for your friends to tell their friends.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, I concur with you, Mark. I think our mentality is I know it's a long game, right? And we're going to continue to do this week over week, right? Month over month. And it is the long game for us.
Yeah.
So
we got to get Will to make us a note for our 19th episode. On the 20th episode, we're going to celebrate.
We made
cupcakes.
it.
Yeah, we made it. We made it.
We made it. We're going to have a beer toast for our 20th episode.
Yeah. Some people quit after 2 or 3, right?
But like, if the average is 19, hey, we're going to celebrate 20. That's a win.
That means that we're guaranteed success if we make it past
guaranteed
19.
success.
Yeah. We already have the next 7 episodes planned. So we're through planning 12 or 13.
Yeah. So almost there.
We're doing 6 at a time, and then, planning for the next 6 kind of thing consistently. So, but it helps a ton having great guests on like yourself, Mark, to help the conversation.
Totally.
Right?
And you'll see after, your first 4 or 5, what are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? How do we want to shift this a little bit? It should be not just educational. It should be a lot of fun for you guys to really produce this content and put it out there for the world. Because, a lot of people are digesting podcasts right now.
I think we've already learned a few things. I think being in front of the camera for one, being loose in front of the camera, being yourself in front of the camera, that may take a minute for some folks. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But then, you think back to some of the first test episodes and things, just little nuanced things that we've figured out, and a cadence of the show has gotten a little better. I think people will tell us, when we've done bad. I think people should tell you when you've done bad.
Yeah, we might cringe when we look back and watch the first episode.
Well, the reaction to on my face when Will said he didn't like fried chicken, I don't know if it was shock or heart. It was more about the fried chicken than it was Chick-fil-A. Like, I guess
you got a serious passion about fried chicken because everything showed on your face. Though.
Well, maybe I think part of it. So, Mark, Will, we were just talking, chit chatting, and Will made the statement that he had been to Chick-fil-A maybe once in his life.
3 times, he said.
Yeah, a couple times.
A couple times. So Mark has shock also. So there was initial shock there because it's such a common place. Not that, it would almost have been like somebody saying they'd never been to McDonald's to me because like knowing Will's age and like how this generation is with like Chick-fil-A is pretty popular in the state of Tennessee. So when
many other states
and many other states, right? Yeah. Like they do a pretty good job. Their drive-through says that they're doing a good job. So I had that reaction, and then on top of that, the poor kid doesn't like fried chicken.
But he is going to let Chad take him out for some hot chicken here soon.
It's not a hard, I don't like
It's not a hard, doesn't like fried chicken. So Will and I are going to do lunch. He's about to be done with school. I'm doing a lunch treat with Will. We're going to go break bread, eat fried chicken, and Will's going to report back.
Now, which one are you taking him to? Hattie B's, Prince's, Bolton's?
Here we go.
It's which hot chicken?
Yeah, what's your plan?
We could probably have our own episode, right, of just hot chicken.
I would,
and everybody would. I don't know that everybody.
We are going to have our own episode of hot chicken.
So, and it's probably needs to be based around that. But I don't want to say my favorite hot chicken, but my favorite atmosphere and favorite hot chicken restaurant is Party Foul.
Okay,
I love Party Foul. I think the hot chicken is really good. And the vibe in the restaurant adds to the hot chicken. I think Hattie B's is great, but they may be the best marketing company, not the best hot chicken company. I think if you want to go legit old school, you got to go to Prince's or Bolton's.
Yeah. Even taking it back to Chick-fil-A and talking about marketing, I mean, they're a marketing machine, and it's not just about the ads that they do.
Yep.
It's like, how do they market their chicken? And it's, quality is the quality of the chicken. It's always hot. It's always fresh. It's like the service that you get there.
Top notch.
Unseen in the fast food industry, right?
Yes.
And you look at that and you go, man, none of that's about placing an ad or
none of it.
You seeing the spotted cow, like saying get more chicken.
Yep.
It's and they're just a marketing machine by just providing high quality service, high quality food.
Yes. They're marketing every day. Yeah. The way their food is presented when you get it delivered to you is like we're sitting here marketing for Chick-fil-A right now.
It's word of mouth, right?
Yeah.
You create the great experience and everybody talks about it.
I can tell you there are other fast food restaurants that you could probably tell me more about bad experiences that you've had than good. And I've got 2 kids that are under 18 years old. We frequent the Chick-fil-A, right? I don't know the last time that we had a bad experience or an experience that was lackluster that they didn't make right. And like you said, that's part of their marketing program.
Yeah, and their percentage of leaving stuff out of your bag or messing up your order is like less than 1%.
They're Hall of Fame, especially if you order on the app.
And you ask for that Chick-fil-A sauce, you're going to get that Chick-fil-A sauce every time.
Yeah,
they don't leave it out.
That a lot. I guess that's the reasoning behind the shock on my face. Was like, oh my goodness.
Well, you always deal with a human. Like you're always going to order from a human.
Yes,
you're always going to be
Yeah.
taken care of. Where now a lot of fast food restaurants are automating everything.
Very
and it's
impersonal.
Like, you go into some and you go, man, I would rather just type in my order because, like I'd rather do that than get just terrible service by trying to place my order.
That's right.
But it just dehumanizes the brand. And I think long term, unless everybody does it, I think they're going to be at a disadvantage where the Chick-fil-A's, the people that really provide that service by a human is going to be, they're going to be way ahead.
They'll continue to be on their pace that they're on. I mean, like you never leave there with a no pun intended, but a bad taste in your mouth, right? Like it's always like, oh man, they took care of me.
You know what you're going to get.
Yeah. Well, it's the same in your business and ours too, is that it's all about relationships. And it's, you know, people, we were talking about it earlier, is that, you know, you do a great job for someone and they refer you to many other people. And I mean, all along the way, we've marketed our business by word of mouth, and that's just by doing a great job. You all have built a heck of a business same way. And it's by just doing a great job for people. And, you know, that's a huge aspect of like marketing beyond just placing ads and driving new leads in the top of the funnel that the sales team can like, you know, qualify and end up closing. It's like, those are important too, but it's that brand you build with like that referral network of just doing a great job.
We both feel that way. It's almost like, no matter how much money you pay for marketing or how good your marketing program is, if you shit the bed on the rest of the experience, you just trashed all that. Every bit of it. All the stuff that Mark and his team at SnapShot have done to drive this business and drive this client to you, if you figuratively shit the bed with the relationship side, it don't work.
Yeah. To me, building the company is extremely important to build service first.
Yeah.
Right? Which is what we've been working on. And then get to a point where you can go full-blown marketing and you're ready for it.
Yeah.
Right?
Give me more.
The balance,
yeah.
Ready to give me more at this point.
Yeah.
So, Mark, how do you think shaping consumer behavior, how important is that to you, you think, from a marketing perspective? Is that something you guys talk about strategically on how you're shaping that behavior?
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to the brand. I mean, it all comes down to like, how are we positioning the brand that is then going to shape the customer's behavior around the brand? Yeah. And it's really like, you know, it really comes down to a lot of different things. Like Chad said earlier, I mean, you know, filling the funnel, we can drive as many leads as you want, but ultimately it's like, what is that experience that they're going to get through that effort that then turns them into like raving fans? And you know, there was a guy I listened to, his name is Jack Daly. He does a lot of sales coaching, and we adopted one of his practices, and it was you carry a money bag with you all the time, and it looks like a money bag, and you make more money off this money bag, and all it has in it is thank you cards. So like when you go meet somebody at a, like, let's just say we drove a lead to you all and you went and met the potential customer over lunch, and in the parking lot before you left, you wrote a handwritten thank you card. You mailed it to them like on the way back to the office. The next day they got that card, you know, they're going to go, man, these guys are all, if they treat me like this at the beginning, what is my experience going to be like in the end? And we've landed so much business that way over the years, just that one little thing of shaping the customer's behavior. You see it now a lot with like micro marketing, which is, you know, like you take that to another level where, you know, maybe it's not just a thank you card. You get a thank you card one day, you know, a couple days later, you're going to get a box of like chocolates with your own like brand
with your
on
logo,
it, with your logo on it. And it's like, man, just thinking about you, or, you know, listening to the person in the meeting and finding out that, hey, their son or daughter likes Disney World, and you go out and buy a little Disney thing and just say, hey man, I was thinking about you, just wanted to send this. I know you said your daughter loved Disney, man. And that is even more powerful when you do it for their kids or their spouse. It's like, you just hear all these stories about that, like micro branding, micro marketing. And so
that is powerful. The little things like that is what I think can win over business, right? In today's time.
In the simplest form, just remembering, you know, that Mark's daughter's a sophomore and soccer, and like those kind of things go a long way. You know, when you truly align with people and it adds on that relationship layer, that goes a long way.
I think you could make as big of an impact in person, you know, with the relationship you build. However, not everybody is the best relationship person or the best talker, right? So standardizing that, the micro marketing, like you're talking about, almost kind of makes it fail proof a little bit, right? Or keeps your percentages higher.
That'll handle,
which is what you're looking for out of marketing, right? Higher percentages, higher close ratio, all those things.
Yeah. I think what you see today in marketing is that it's a lot more around like growth of a company. You don't see as many like marketing titles. There's a lot of like chief growth officer, and that person will sit between sales and marketing. Sometimes you see it's called rev ops, revenue operations, and they sit between sales and marketing, and they manage both sides of the business. And so marketing and sales are coming together more now than ever before through like lead generation, through marketing automation is what we're seeing. Like a lot of our clients are asking us for like, hey, we really need to automate a lot of this. So when we send out an email, there has to be a cadence of what happens if they click on this article. Okay, 2 days later, they get another similar article and a follow-up. You know, if they don't open it, 7 days later, they're going to get another like highly customized email, you know, and it's about building this cadence of everything in that marketing experience. And the same with like lead scoring. We see a lot of that right now. A lot of our clients are asking us for lead scoring. And that's, man, if I watch your social media post or I click on it to learn more, there's a score given to it, where if I open the email, I fill out a form, I visit your website, and now like the analytics, I mean, you can track somebody through every page that they viewed on your website. And so, you know, that those things, like once you get to a certain score, training the sales team to, man, this person is very interested, we need somebody to reach out immediately, or man, the next touch point could be we're going to send them a little gift,
right?
You know, and the close rates on those type of marketing opportunities are just out of this world.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
So
that's when you get when you start clicking on this email and click that link, that's when you get more marketing sent your way.
Absolutely. Yeah. The companies that pull that data, right, or can pull it, what they've clicked on, where they've went to, they're trying to sell to companies like us, right? Hey,
that's
we got that information.
Mark, I have something that I find interesting. I'm skipping some bullets, or maybe not even on the bullets, but what are some brands out there you're in marketing? What are some brands out there that you see, 2 or 3, that you're like, man, their market, like you're envious of their marketing efforts, like they do it right?
That's a great question. I mean, I think in the past, you know, you would say Nike. Nike is, I mean, it's all about like competition, right? Yeah. They have a very strong brand built around competition. I think you've got Apple-esque. I mean, it's, you know, very clean and, you know, it's innovative. I mean, it all speaks to like innovation. You know, Starbucks, one of my favorite like coffees in the morning is, and I don't even know that it's really good coffee. It's just the way that the cup makes me feel when I'm holding it.
We don't know if Chick-fil-A has good ingredients either. We just eat it.
I don't really think they do, but you see it like it's almost like not a status thing, but a status thing, right? The Starbucks cup. So now all these people are marketing for Starbucks. Jason and I talk about this a little bit. We don't, you know, ways for us to market and do things. And one of the, you know, we don't have tangible goods. You know, we don't have a shoe that we can market, or we're not selling shirts. And one of the companies that I look at, and I always, based on their social and all that, is Yeti coolers. Yeah. Like they are so not a cooler company. They are 100% a marketing company. And every time I see things that they do from they've like got a short film series on YouTube that they've done with people in the outdoors. And I'm like, man, whoever is there on their marketing team, like
they're shaping you as a consumer.
They are,
right?
They are. That's what made me think about it, is because when I see the things that they do, it's like, that aligns with
your lifestyle and your thoughts.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
And they like their ads, you don't know what, for the most part, right? If a cooler's just sitting there, they're just grabbing a beer out of the cooler, or they're whatever it may be, or the cooler's sitting on the back of the boat and they've got a tumbler's on the front of the boat, and it's like whoever they've got or whatever folks, their team has, they've really got it figured out.
Yeah, you almost see their marketing teams becoming bigger than their product teams.
100%.
And even now you look at there's a lot of really popular bourbon brands.
Yes.
And they're actually owned by marketing agencies.
That's right.
They were started, they just source the juice.
Yep.
It's great, but they market it incredibly well.
Yep.
They've got big marketing teams, and it's got to be a good product.
It's got to be a good product.
However, it gets blown up by the marketing machine that you put behind
That's right.
it.
That's interesting. So you're saying that companies can start as a marketing firm, or might, and the whiskey or bourbon is just an afterthought.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
It could be anything. It could be
that's powerful.
You're going to launch a new restaurant brand, but you have have a marketing agency behind it that starts it. We're going to brand it anyway. We're going to actually end up doing all the branding and marketing for it. So all we have to do is go hire an operator that's one of the top-notch people out there that does it. And actually, that's what we're going to look at in the future is how do we launch other brands that would be under the Snapshot umbrella.
Just build them from the ground.
That we would build, but it's you always have to go hire the operator to make sure that you're not sucked into the business and having to run it and do the agency and do 5 other businesses.
Yeah. So brand perception and building the brand today 2024 is almost more important in getting started.
Look at the
than
bars.
Sometimes the product, right?
Look at the bars on Broadway.
All the country singer names.
We live in Music City, and look at all these bars on Broadway, and how many of them are really owned by the celebrity. It's just marketing,
right?
They've got
leasing their name out
X
or whatever.
person's name. There are very few of them that are owned by the celebrity.
Yeah.
That's a great point. you talk about brands too, and you look at the city of Nashville and how the brand that we've built over the last, 10, 20 years as the IT city. That's right. It's very impressive.
A place to go for a bachelorette party.
Yeah.
That's true.
The woohoo wagons that are downstairs or downtown,
That's right.
But yeah, we've built an incredible brand as a city, and now there's just a lot of companies and a lot of people that are wanting to move to the city because of it. They see the energy level that's happening here, and so it's impressive.
Hey, I got a joke for you guys, if that's cool.
Yeah.
Can Jason tell a joke?
You can always tell a joke.
Why can you only ran in a campground?
No idea.
Because it's past tense.
Okay. I get it. I've got you now. Next week.
It's a dad joke, right? We tell dad jokes on our podcast.
Okay.
So
next week.
They're not always going to be super funny.
Next week, we need much better from you.
That's good.
You got it, man. I'll give you funny next week. So speaking of marketing and companies coming to the area of Nashville, you mentioned companies coming here, right? Loving the Nashville vibe, what we got going on. Oracle, right? Announced that their HQ is getting moved here. We thought it was just going to be like a regional office, and now all of a sudden it's their HQ, which I think is huge, right?
Totally.
So you're seeing these California, these Texas companies, wherever, right, relocate to Nashville because of the brand and because of how great the city is to live in, right?
Most of the time it's California companies or Northeastern firearm manufacturers.
Still to California folks, living in Nashville is still great to them, right? But I think for folks that have lived here all their life, we're starting to think, man, it's not the same Tennessee or Nashville anymore,
No, it's
right?
not the same vibe.
But to us, do we want to move further out because of the way Nashville's becoming?
If I could get my wife to sign off on it, I would.
Move further away?
Yeah, from Nashville. Yeah, I'm not a Nashville guy.
We were probably, some people probably love or hate this, but part of it they'll love because we got MLS. We worked with the management team to get MLS to move to Nashville, and so we were lucky enough to be a part of that. And in the same year, we got approached by the Nashville Chamber of Commerce, their economic development, the cities and the state's economic development department, because there was a big push. Amazon was going to move their world headquarters to one of 300 cities at the time that were vying, and they went to all the big agencies in town, and it was a quick turnaround, and I think they said, hey, everybody thought we were crazy. There's no way we could do this, and so they came over and talked to us, and we were like, yeah, we can do it, of course. Like every small entrepreneurial agency says yes, and then they walked out, and it's like, oh man, how are we going to do this? But luckily, we were partnered up with another small firm, Cary Graham, with Brand Hotel, and they created all the content, and we did all the designs and the video work, and we created the website for it that ultimately got Amazon's operations hub here, which at the time was the largest jobs grant in the state of Tennessee at 5,000 employees. But then a few weeks later, when they moved it to New York and they had all the tax issues and political issues, they moved another 1,500 jobs to Nashville. And so that was really, not necessarily the start. Then you had Alliance Bernstein, and now you got Oracle. And, what people don't really always realize is it's not just that company. There's probably 100 other companies that support those companies that are going to move their headquarters here, or move a big presence into the Nashville market. So it's just
and new companies that'll be created because of it, right?
Yeah. Lots of companies. So
think about what healthcare did to Nashville, right? HCA. Yeah. How many healthcare companies are here now because of HCA?
Yeah,
thousands.
I don't think we realize I don't think the average person that's not in manufacturing realizes what the automotive industry has done to not just Tennessee, but even Alabama, Mississippi. And it's not just the Toyota, Nissan, GM. It's all the tier 2, tier 3 companies that are off of that make the world go round. It not only creates jobs that are GM jobs or Nissan jobs, but it's jobs way down the line, and it could be a small town that doesn't have a ton of job opportunity. So that's spot on. Yeah. You don't think about
Nashville's got a great brand. I mean, it is one. It's that it's very business friendly, right? Like the state of Tennessee is very business friendly. I'm in an organization called Entrepreneurs Organization, and we have the biggest chapter in the United States. There's about 375 members, all with businesses. They have to be the CEO or founder, and your business has to be over $1 million. And a majority of them are well over $1 million. But it's kind of for the companies that have actually been there, done that, grown the company, felt some, they've been through some things, but then we all get together and we can share experiences on our business, their business, and it's just a great network. Yeah. And it's just a testament to why Nashville's chapter is the biggest in the United States, because there's a lot of entrepreneurship happening here, even though these big giant companies are moving here because we're tax friendly, we're business friendly. We're collaborative. You probably have experienced the same thing as through the years, the amount of people that I've reached out to that I said, there's zero chance they should take a meeting with me. If it was positioned in the right way, if I did a good job on the front end, they were always like, oh man, yeah, I'd love to meet with you and hear a little more about what you're doing.
That's awesome.
And then usually they were like, oh man, maybe there's nothing we could do together, but I need you. You ought to know these couple people. And by the way, man, I'm happy to make an introduction for you. And I just have seen that along the way that's what's helped us grow. And I just think it's a testament to the way people act in Nashville, in the business community.
I think you're right. I think if you truly ask for it, and you're personable and have the right upfront message, people will help you in this town.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
I agree. I need to look into that program you speak about. I know we've talked about it a couple of times. So I think it could be good for us.
Yeah. It would be.
So in today's day and time, in 2024, awareness and reach from a marketing standpoint, if you're a company like myself or a new company and have a sales team, right? What platform or what kind of awareness and reach are you using today to get those customers?
Yeah.
Let's say from a business to consumer, a business to business level, either way, right? I think you talked about it earlier. You got to have multiple avenues, right? So are you using all the socials or just one or two, right? Email marketing, blogging, videos, right? You have to do it all.
I think, it depends on the bandwidth of the organization. It depends on if they're working with an agency. There's a lot of factors that play into it, but in today's day and age, your ideal buyer, their personas, who you're going after, right? In the technology world. And so, how many of them are in the state of Tennessee, how many of them are outside the state of Tennessee, and how far do we want to work out there? And then, any, agency should be able to put together a program around like, we're going to go target those folks. And I would say, depending on the type of brand, LinkedIn for business use might be the best avenue. However, it gets really expensive. It's like, is it LinkedIn and is it Meta? And now I'm going to target people on Facebook and Instagram too, and that's much more affordable, bigger reach.
You're saying the advertising dollars are much more expensive on LinkedIn?
On LinkedIn, the ads are going to be much more expensive going that route. But if you look at your ideal customer and you go, man, they're going to make X amount a month, and I know what the conversion rate's going to be on LinkedIn. It makes a lot of sense to do that. But that's where a smart agency would be able to give you all that information. And then like in the past, agencies used to go, well, you got X amount of new people, like there were 1 million views on your website. And it's like, oh man, that's great. However, it doesn't even matter. It's like, how many of those people that came to your website filled out a form and now you can convert them into a client, right? Yeah. And so with the like Salesforce and HubSpot and Pardot on the marketing automation side, or HubSpot's marketing hub, it's like there's so much analytics and data where now today we can tell our clients like exactly how many conversions we got for them, and out of those conversions, how many of them actually became clients. Yeah. And so it's very like data driven, and really you find out like, hey, if we spent 10,000 and we generated 100,000, and we know it without a doubt, do we spend 20,000 to get 200,000? Yeah. And then before long, you start to look at it and go, there's a diminishing returns to it. It's not like you could spend $1 million and get 10 million. There may not be that many customers out there for you, or potential customers. And so,
but there is a sweet spot.
Yeah. And I think it's a full on approach. Of, email. If you have a database, it's, doing emails and doing all the automated workflows around the email. It's around doing the ads. It's around like lead scoring. It's around setting up your CRM and marketing automation tool where at a glance you can see the effectiveness of all this. Like we've got dashboards for all of our clients where they're real time. So, that's a blessing and a curse. Some people like look at it every, hour.
It's like watching a gas gauge when you're below.
Hey, no leads in today, Mark. What's going on?
We need to throw more money at it, or hey, it's not working. Yeah. And really, like when I just said that, it's like, we will see like some clients will go, man, it hasn't worked for a couple weeks. And their business, they land one piece of business and it could be worth $500,000 in profit to them. And they're like, okay, man, this is working, right? Yeah. And it's like, it's that one lead, depending on the size of the opportunities that you're out there trying to go get.
Yeah.
And so we've had that experience happen many times, but it's really like that. It's that transparency, it's the communication, it's the explaining it to the client, it's having like dashboards and having, real-time data that they can look at. And then we've found it's just the communication on a monthly basis, a weekly basis, depending on what their schedules are. We have a lot of client calls every week where we're reporting on what we did and what's working, what's not, and how we shifted. And we've got some clients that are just super busy, and they're like, man, if we could just meet once a month. But it's that communication, that explanation on like what's working and what's not. Yeah. Because what we've found is that no matter what, no matter how technical it gets, the client still always wants to be a part of the experience. Yeah. Right?
Sure.
Even though they go, hey, you guys know what you're doing, you go. Well, it's like the second you don't bring them back into it and you don't make them feel like they're a part of it, they go, well, is this really working or not?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, marketing and customer acquisition is one of the most important things in an organization, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to be involved in it.
I mean,
you got to be. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think, back to our point in talking about customer acquisition and things of that nature. Can you put a dollar figure, or how do you report and show on that dollar figure of what a customer costs, right? Because that's very important to a company if they're going to pay a marketing firm or pay for marketing services. They have to know what it costs to obtain a customer.
That's right? A great metric that we always set KPIs with our clients, and that specific KPI is, we call it CAC, which is, an acronym for customer acquisition cost. And it's really like how much does it cost to land any of these clients? And, it could be $1,000, it could be $100. And you want to get it based off of, like, you want to set it with the business owner or the executive team on, what's realistic. If it's a $1 million piece of equipment that we're selling, is that $1,000 or $10,000? Because if they landed one and we know that they have a 22% profit margin, so every one we sell is going to be $220,000 in profit for them, not revenue. It's like, then we spend, is 10,000 the right number? And it probably would be. Where for any small business selling a service that, you might profit, $1,000 on a month, because they have lots and lots of customers on it, this is not even going to be close to being acceptable. Yeah. You'd want something closer to, maybe $100. And so we always set that on the front end so that then we can be measured, so that we can show value in what we do, because that's, at the end of the day, I mean, that's what we're judged on, is how effective have we been for your business and growing it.
Mark's got me wanting to hire Mark.
Yeah, I think so. How does it? I think you help with that intel, right, on figuring out what a customer acquisition cost is, right?
Yeah.
I think every company needs to know that. Yeah. From our perspective, like marketing, in my opinion, and the way I've always looked at marketing is, for us, because of what we do, it's more brand awareness. Yeah. Like I've just looked at marketing. And maybe my train of thought will change on that, maybe after this conversation or down the road in the years ahead. But it's brand awareness for us, right? Our post, everything that we do is brand awareness. And that's, in my opinion, helps open up the door, makes it easier for Chad or someone else to get their foot in the door, right? Oh, yeah, I've heard of you guys before, right? But at the end of the day, we still have to put in the work. Yeah, we still got to make the calls, send the emails, set the appointments, right? How much of marketing is going to change that and automate that and keep you as an organization from having to have an outside sales force and door knocking and cold calling? Do you think that's going to change and evolve, or is it already?
I think it'll really depend on the business, but I think even in like banking, so like we work with a lot of community banks, credit unions, and it's kind of like, hey, all these technology banks that are coming in, like, people don't want to go into a branch anymore. right? But they ultimately still want a relationship with a banker that, hey, I've got a question and I want to go buy this new car, but like, man, what's the interest rate going to be? How much is that going to be? I'm buying my first house. Like, what's the mortgage company I ought to use? And what do you, can you help me through this process? And, you know, or my first business loan or line of credit or, you know, and it's still going to be humanized. But I think like what marketing can do is help with the awareness, the top of the funnel. Like you said, you're doing a lot of brand awareness, which is just making sure everybody knows your brand out there. It's really top of the funnel techniques that then ultimately will get somebody into the funnel that then now the sales team can take over and end up closing that deal out. And so, but you know, I think you guys do an amazing job. I think I've told you this before on brand awareness from on your socials, more from like a hiring standpoint. Like if I looked at your socials, I would want to come work for your company. So as you scale up, it's going to be easier, I think, for you to find great people. And like we have a lot of clients that, I mean, they want an equal amount of that, like that brand awareness so they can hire. And as they do like brand awareness so that people think we're the smartest people in the world.
Right.
And they want to do business with us. Yeah. And so, especially in today's day and age of, you know, trying to get the very best people on your team.
Yeah. I really like when companies market their culture, right? And their people, right? Over their product or service. And to your point, I think if you can do that, market your culture the right way and your people the right way, it's going to attract buyers to you no matter what you're selling or providing. Right. And at the same time, it attracts your next set of employees. So I know there's a few local companies that do that I always like to see their commercials and how they market. So that's my big thing, right? Our culture first. Yeah. And it's going to attract the right type of clientele for us. So that's my thoughts about it.
You do a great job with it, so keep it up, man.
Appreciate that. So how do from a marketing perspective, right? You're using all the tools, the LinkedIns, the Instagrams, the Facebooks. You're doing the blogging, the emailing, all that. From a marketing perspective, how do you take all that in, the feedback from it, and make the right adoptions and create the right plans, right? That might be the biggest challenge for a lot of companies internally, right? Is what do they do with all the data and how do they convert it and make it better, right? And I guess that's where they would lean on you guys, right? You help out on a lot of that stuff.
I think it's an evolution too. I mean, it's all a learning, and it could be a regional learning. What works in, you know, the South may not work in the West Coast. You know, what works in one business may not work in another business. Just because you've got two B2B businesses doesn't mean you can market exactly the same way. I think that what you're probably like going to see coming up more and more, you hear about it every day, is AI, and how is AI going to impact business. And, you know, a lot of things can be automated. I would tell you personally, like, I would never want to do business with a business that decreased their workforce, laid a bunch of people off because AI now does it for them. Like, I wouldn't want to do business with that type of company, even though, like, in the agency world, what we see is it's more of like, if our team can learn it and use it responsibly and they can master it, like the scale that we can have by having the same amount of people or adding just incrementally the amount of people to do that work, it superhumanizes our team. It makes them so much more efficient. So what we hope to find is that, you know, our team's working less, they're producing more, they're happier at their job, and they're making a heck of a lot more money because they have these tools that just speed things up and make it more efficient. But you can't like lose the fact that you still have to have a human involved in it along the way to be able to, you know, just look at the content or make sure it's right. But I think down the road, there's going to be a lot of this that'll be like automated in a lot of the sales process. I mean, you're already seeing it through the marketing automation platforms and adding AI and writing and,
Is AI going to take over marketing at some point?
I think it'll always I think
you still will need the human element.
You're still going to need the relationship. It's just like the bank. Even though AI does a lot of this, you still want to know me, and you still want to know, hey, Mark could give me advice, or what are you seeing? What's next after AI? And I think it's about a relationship. It's about we see that. I mean, our accounts team is very, very important to our business, and it's because they hold the relationship, and our clients, they depend on them. And I don't know that you'll ever be able to create an AI tool that builds a relationship.
Yeah. Don't say never.
I think Mark's spot on. My wife is in finance, in banking, and she says that all the time. She works for a community bank, and she says it all the time. I think Sumner County is the king of a bank on every corner, and a lot of those are there's some of those impersonal things, and she's like, we gain customers every day because somebody wants to see you.
I think that's the evolution of small business in America, right?
Yeah.
Is small businesses are created because they bring another level of customer service, white glove treatment. Bigger companies, as they grow, they lose that touchy-feely
feel,
right? And then that sparks up another small business to come in and take those customers or give the white glove treatment that they're missing from the other company, right? That's the reason why we are so fluent with small business in America, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think marketing trends shift over the years. You think about it, and 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it was all print advertising. It was postcard mailers. And then it was now the new age of the internet and the iPhones and smartphones. And it's man, now you've got these kids that have never experienced paper products. So now you're starting to see a little bit of a resurgence around that. I know even sending thank you cards. I mean, and people actually getting it in the mail, and they're able to feel that quality of the paper.
Yeah.
It's just that experience they get that is different than I just got an email and it's on my iPhone and I get 100 emails a day and it's wore me out. I just had a client just the other day. I did this. I sent them a thank you card for something. I met them at a conference and just said, man, it was great meeting you. And they emailed me back and they were like, man, I got your card and I know you're my type of person because of just doing this little thing, which is sending the thank you card. And
15 years ago, we used to be happy to get an email. Now we're happy to get mail again, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
My son, it was my wife's idea. I play in some photography for fun, right? When I'm hunting, and I took a picture of my son and a friend of ours, and she said, Chad, you need to, I'm giving her credit. She said, you need to print that and get Baylor to write John a note and tell him he enjoyed hunting with him and that sort of thing. And we did, and sent it to him. And John's reaction was like, man, you don't know how much that means. He's like, nobody ever does that. So it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. In today's fast action, fast paced world of doing business, right? We lose track of that sometimes, of slowing down and just being personable.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's the best way we could do it, is a personal letter, personal gift, whatever. Right.
NexGen thank you cards.
Absolutely. I think every small business should incorporate thank you cards, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, after a meeting, after you sign a deal with a customer, whatever it is.
For sure.
I think you got to have those.
Yeah.
And
it's good to hear it again. It's that little reminder.
You just got to take the time out of your day, or have a dedicated person that kind of
writes thank you. Then it's
a dedicated person that reminds you.
Okay.
That puts it into place, right?
I was like, Jason,
Jason's
like, you got to have somebody to write the card for you.
I just had this conversation with somebody before I came here, and it was around the impersonalization of using an AI tool to write a thank you card. There's a lot of services out there that you can do that. Yeah. And the challenge is you'd be better off not sending me one of those than to send me one where you were just too lazy to actually write it.
It's the fake handwritten note from the dealership, the auto dealership that wants you to come by and see, the new Tahoe or whatever.
Or giving you a 10K offer over on your car or whatever.
Yeah, and it looks handwritten.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Get you excited at first, and then you're like, no.
I would rather there be poor spelling and maybe incorrect grammar and bad handwriting than get the fake one.
Yeah, a lot of times I write it with a Sharpie because it's different. It's not even doesn't even look like a pen.
Yeah. Mark and I were talking about that before we started the show. I think this is a running theme with me, and authenticity is a key in everything you do.
Well, companies have to put quality over quantity.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yep.
It's building a brand. That's a huge part of your brand. Or in the early days, our brand, when we were just starting the business up, most of the agencies, they'd never even answer their phones. So you'd call because you're working on a project with another agency and you'd call their answering service. They'd never even answer. And a lot of times it'd take days for them to return the call back to you. And it's like, man, we're waiting on you to get this because we want to get this project wrapped up because we need the cash flow and we want to provide a great service to the client. And so we actually put our phone number at the top of the website, our first website, and underneath of it, we actually answer. And we did. And that's the amount of business that we landed because the customers sent in a lead form and they said, man, you were the only one that called us back or answered your call out of the 4 or 5 that we reached out to.
It's almost like insane. I dare you to call us to see that we'll answer the phone.
Yeah.
That's a great point. I think, and I try to coach this and talk to my people about it, but if we can just be present and let clients know that we really appreciate the partnership and that we want their business and we're there when they need us, that's half of it, right? Because there's so many people and companies that just aren't following up, right? Making the calls.
But that's a part of your brand. That's a part of your marketing. And sometimes those little things that could be more powerful than running, a $10,000 campaign trying to land new business. It's like you'd be better off not to land the new business if you can't follow up with them. Yeah. You can't support it.
So increasing sales and driving innovation, is that the number one thing that people are thinking about when they come to you or talk about a marketing plan?
I think it revolves around usually a few things. One is driving leads and opportunities, building their business. I mean, that's always going to be, the other is in today's age, it's recruiting. So we do quite a bit of advertising for recruiting for, heavy machinery equipment technicians. It's like we can target all the schools all across the nation and drive, qualified candidates in to take on that career. It could be other careers, but there's just a lot of recruiting happening today. So customers come to us for business acquisition. They come to us for recruiting. Or the third is just refresh, rebrand on their brand because maybe they're going to put their business up for sale and they know how important the brand looking, fresh, vibrant, energized is going to be in the sale price that they're going to get for their business. Yeah. Or we're launching a new division in our business and we really need somebody to come in and help us brand that, market it, take it to market. And help us grow it. So usually those 3 buckets.
But customer acquisition is number one, you would say. Okay. I guess it's getting tougher nowadays to get the right employees, right? So they're spending more on employee acquisition, you're saying, as being number 2?
Not every day you find somebody like me, Jason.
I know, man. How is the... that being number 2, we're in Nashville, for being Nashville based, is Nashville experiencing the same issues as the rest of the country? Or Is there more open jobs here or less open jobs?
I think depending on the industry, it's probably one of the toughest markets too.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are recruiting people from outside the state that are just happen to be moving here, and I think there's a lot of need for really quality people. Mm-hmm. We've seen in our industry that, between COVID and probably 2023, the wages skyrocketed because everybody was working remotely. And, so you could leave a job making 60, 70 and go get a job making 100. And you're working for a New York agency or an LA agency.
Yeah.
However, now it's coming full circle, and now people are asked to be coming back in the office in most situations, and there's a lot of wage deflation. And then there's some people out there that are just really too proud to take a cut, even though they took a huge gain. Mm-hmm. They just can't in their mind take the cut back to what is really fair market value for what they were doing. Mm-hmm. And it's I applaud them all. Man, go make as much money as you can make. Just know that there's nothing forever.
Yeah.
It's just the economy. When it seems too good to be true, there's always some sort of correction that happens. And I think Nashville's probably experiencing, with the country, probably experiencing a little bit of that. But Nashville may be on a bigger scale because it seemed like it was just, we had a lot of great people here, and they got picked off all along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. So if I'm a company that says I've got $5,000 a month to budget for marketing, you're a 5-6-year-old company, you're trying to take your company to the next level, right? Where do you put that $5,000 for the people that are listening? What do we do with it? Do we hire somebody and have them do all the social media marketing and be the genius, or do we hire an agency and what would be the plan with the agency? Right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that you're hiring the person. It's there's always an option there. Mm-hmm. But what most small businesses at that level are thinking is they're going to go find the unicorn. And the unicorn is somebody that can do it all. I can do social media, I can design, I can write the copy, I could actually design out the newsletters, and I could do all the email marketing, but I can also look at the analytics and, oh man, I need you to do SEO too. So now I got to write all the content for SEO and make sure it's all done on the web. And we see this all the time. It's somebody one of our clients will come to us and say, hey, we love working with you. We need to hire an interface within the company that can work directly with you. And I'll ask them a series of questions of what are you looking for in this person? And it is always basically everything you could ever do in marketing.
Yeah.
And
which
that
is not going to
person
happen.
It's just, they're a unicorn. And then it's you're not going to hire that person for $50,000, which is $5,000 a month.
Right.
Yes.
And then you throw on benefits and everything, and you're really at 65,000 if you're lucky.
Yeah.
And so I think the best approach is probably to find an agency that's small, that caters to your niche, not even your niche, just small business that can actually has a proven track record of moving the needle. Mm-hmm. Because there's, in most businesses, there's always smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen a lot of, we've worked with a lot of businesses that for the first 6 months, we did nothing but try to build the trust back because they were so distrustful, they got burned. And and so I think, finding an agency that's got, some great references and, checking those references and I think is probably going to be your best approach if you were wanting to invest that kind of money. And then it's what do you do with the money? What should I do? And I think that's where somebody should have a plan for you that they're going to present it to you based on your business and what you want to do. A lot of times we do a strategy session with most of our clients before we charge the client, but what comes out of it has saved the clients a ton of money. So even though they may pay up front, we don't just go out and go, okay, we're going to spend all this money. It may be, hey, we have $5,000 and you really only need to spend, $4,275 because that's what we determined out of this. Yeah. And, but I think, it's also about like, where do you want to take the business? So it's not just about marketing and what do you want the brand to be and what are your, values and who are your ideal customers and all that. But it's really like, where do you want your business to be? Do you want, in 3 years, are you trying to triple your business? In the next 5 years, are you looking to get acquired? Because all of those business aspects like factor into the marketing plan that you'd want to put together. And it's like, if you want to double your business in the next 18 months, well, how many potential customers are out there? How much is each customer worth to you? And then let's set KPIs around that so that we can go out and we know what we've got to acquire for you. And then it's like, is your internal operations, can they actually handle it? Because like we could easily turn on the faucet and then it's doing more damage because you've got, let's just say 50% churn. So you bring in 100% of clients, 50% of them are churning out, but those that are churning maybe creating more bad will for you, then it's even worth bringing in that customer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got to look at it at a lot of different angles, but
yeah, it's a big time strategy. So I think talking about it and speaking to an expert like yourself and doing the strategy session could be a benefit for sure. That's for a business. If I'm an individual, right? Like an individual contributor, say I'm just a sales professional out there and I'm trying to brand myself in a new town. Like I moved from California, I'm in Nashville now. What's your guys' advice on that salesperson getting themselves out there and branding themselves?
I think
from a marketing perspective.
I think it depends on what type of sales role they're on. Like you have to know your audience for one. I mean, are you a real estate agent selling to consumers? I think your marketing plan, your individual marketing plan is different than that guy who's selling heavy equipment.
Yeah.
That guy who's selling heavy equipment better learn all these excavation companies and better learn his audience as well. I think that's step one, is to know your audience before you can have a marketing plan of any kind. And maybe that's for even a business too. You have to know your audience. You have to know your target, then to set up your strategy. And
but the heavy equipment guy shouldn't be on LinkedIn. And
I didn't say that, but his path is, I would say maybe not. Because I can tell you that if he's a heavy equipment sales guy, I don't know how important LinkedIn is to him, because I know firsthand
his buyers are not on LinkedIn.
His buyers in a lot of cases are not hanging out on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean he's not getting information from somebody that gets him in front of that guy. But I'm going to tell you, the owners of Holloman Trucking and Excavating are not on LinkedIn. And they're the buyers of the heavy equipment. You are not finding them there. So,
but you're finding them on Facebook, maybe?
No.
You actually, I mean, I think you're heading down a path that's right on. But I think we work with a lot of like sales teams too, as we're doing the marketing. Because I said, like, marketing and sales has came so close together now. And it's like, making sure that they have, if we were going to go launch a new business and we said, we're going to build a sales team, right? What we want to do is make sure that they have every asset that they need to actually properly tell the story of what we do, whether that's a PDF, whether that's PowerPoint, whether it's, just a leave behind flyer, whatever that is that we determine is going to be like the best collateral for them. Then it's like putting together the sales process of like, just, maybe it's the thank you notes, maybe it's, some other initiatives that we would put in place. But like, if I like just going down that heavy machinery equipment route, if that were the case, like, there's trade shows that we'd want to get them in front of, like, so then we'd want to go, where do all of our customers hang out at? And so it'd be trade shows that they're going to attend. It's us having a really killer booth that presents ourselves the right way. And what are the giveaways that we do there that aren't hokey that
it's gotta be
they
a good
would really
hat, don't
want, right? It's like, and then you, you know, and then that's where you start to build that, like, that presence, that leadership, that top of the funnel. Now they recognize your name while you're out there. And, you know, and then we, you know,
knowing where your buyers are at, I guess, is what we're saying.
Because those guys
Yeah.
can sniff out fake faster than anybody.
Yeah.
You know, the guy that's buying agriculture equipment, the guy that's buying heavy equipment, the guy that's, you know, those guys, the blue collar guy, he can sniff out bullshit from a mile away.
Yeah.
So it's 100%.
That's interesting because we have a bank that's in Missouri that's they are the largest ag lender in the state of Missouri, third in the nation. So a lot of ag lending, and they go out and they hire their business bankers. Like some of their most successful business bankers were FFA teachers.
That's right.
And it's because they know how to relate to farmers. They know the speak. They've done it. They've been there.
Yeah.
And they can relate. And so that's, you know, another huge aspect is the finding the right people and the recruiting and in sales.
What do you think in today's time, what's the best feedback platform for an individual or a company, like from a marketing perspective? Is it Google reviews? Like if you're trying to get feedback to the public of what you're doing as an organization, is it case studies, you know, video case studies? Is it the Google reviews?
I mean, most of the review platforms for a business are going to be on like Google reviews. I mean, and that way it's going to help your SEO too, because you're going to be a credible business with good reviews. And, you know, and they're not anonymous, like, which is also very positive because it's actually people that have done business with you.
Yeah.
And, you know, and people are going to look at that. I mean, having the, you know, testimonials, the video testimonials would be another tool for a salesperson to be able to just go, hey, don't take it from me. Like, here's a list of our clients. And, so, you know, what we've seen is a lot of times they'll send it over and they'll go, oh, man, I know this person. Like, now I can call.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think individual contributors, like, you know, in my opinion, they should use tools like LinkedIn or something, right? Where they have the customer testimonial capability, right?
Totally.
The references. I mean, to your point, I think using multiple platforms, because you might have a buyer on platform A, but another buyer on platform B. I think you have to diversify yourself, right? Across multiple platforms. But we as a company, we've been building on Google, right? The Google reviews, putting the testimonials on our website. So I think both of those are important. I think on our next level of growth, doing video testimonials is kind of my thought, right? Going down that path. So that's another thing we're thinking of too, which maybe you're not going to have as a brand new business starting out, but that next phase, right? You kind of start working on that. I think if you're a sales organization, I think that's huge for the sales reps to be able to point to that for sure.
But I would start that process early so it becomes just second nature. Like a lot of times people get to a certain size and they go, oh, now we got to add on this. Versus like, you know, from day one, you know, doing net promoter scores with your surveys with your clients. And it's like,
that's true, man.
How do you know, then if they score it an 8, 9 or a 10, then they get a Google review, you know, that, hey, would you, you know, thank you for this, you know, if, you know, mean the world to us if you know, as a small business, if you'd take a second and just, you know.
That sounds just like my email. Exactly like it.
Really? So see, you've already got it down.
That's hugely important to me as a small business that we get those Google reviews, and because I know it does push business to the website, right? From an SEO perspective. So, we've talked about a lot today about the power of marketing. I think the key is you should market your company, right? You should figure out the right ways to market it, the right platforms based on where your customers are, right? I think is hugely important. Know what your customer acquisition cost is, right? If you want to be successful in today's time, you need to have a budget that goes towards a marketing plan, right? Whether it's in-house or external. And then individual people, whether you're in sales or not, I kind of feel like it's on onus to the company to make sure that you get those people out and about, right? And market themselves.
Make sure
the
that
right
they're
way.
equipped.
Make sure they're equipped with the right tools to do it, right? And I think in today's age, not only the salespeople need to be on there marketing themselves, you want other people in other departments sharing your post and speaking the good word about your company, right? It needs to come from other folks too.
We always tell our clients, we always say, everything you do in your business is marketing.
Yeah.
And people don't think about that. It's like everything from the way that you answer your calls at the very beginning. That's marketing. It could either be good marketing, bad marketing for your business. It's, it's how you onboard a new client. That's marketing. It's like you are either going to give a great experience or not so good of an experience. It's, it's the culture that we're trying to build. Culture is marketing. And it's like, man, how do we communicate the culture? How are we getting our team to like thrive in this culture, share the posts? Like, how do you not even have to ask them to do it, but they just do it because they love the culture. And it's like, that's all marketing.
That's when you win.
Yeah.
When you're not asking and people are taking it upon themselves, you've won.
Yeah.
When they're retweeting or re-Xing.
That doesn't sound right.
It don't sound right, but
sharing is what I like to say.
I don't know what it is. Or, adding whatever you posted to their Instagram story or whatever. That's when you win.
Yeah. Will, did you have any information you wanted to share with us today at all?
Any useless information, perhaps?
You got anything for us?
I do have something interesting, actually. Did you know that a sloth can hold their breath longer than a dolphin?
A sloth can hold their breath longer than a dolphin?
A sloth.
That's good. I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
Do you know what the time frame is? How long?
I don't know. I don't remember what the time frame was, but it's basically just because they can slow their metabolism
because
down.
They're slowing everything down.
Yeah. And then whenever they do need to swim, because they do swim, actually.
Sloths swim?
Yeah, like they have
that
to
may
cross,
be more of the
like,
information that I did.
yeah. So they have to reduce their heart rate and stuff so they can go underwater and hold their breath.
Wow.
And then dolphins can always come up for air so they can hold their breath longer than dolphins.
Thanks, Will.
Interesting.
Well, that is good information. We're going to Costa Rica for vacation this summer, and the family's biggest thing is
they want to see a sloth.
See the sloths and holding the sloths.
Watch the swimming hole.
We're gonna
now you have a little bit of useless information to share.
They can hold their breath. So
when you're sitting there on a raft with a nice IPA, and a sloth comes swimming by.
Absolutely. Well, since we're talking about marketing today, Mark, we do a podium discussion at the end of every episode where we do a top 3 of any kind of thing, right? Whether it's like our favorite fried chicken place or whatever, right? We always do that at the end of every episode. Today, we're going to say top 3 social media platforms since we're talking about marketing.
Like the way we rank them?
Like the way we rank them. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man.
In our opinion.
In our opinions and our humble opinions, right? So whatever it is personally to you. For us personally, right? Mark's personal. What's your number 3, Mark?
My number 3 would probably be Instagram. Actually, no. I mean, it's going to be a mix between Instagram and Facebook, but that'd be my number 3.
Number 3 would be Instagram.
A Meta product.
Meta.
Yeah, but you got to put Instagram and Facebook separate.
Yeah, they're separate.
Even though you could push it all to one.
So I'm going to do Facebook as number 3.
It's 3.
Okay. What do you got for number 3?
I want to preface this by saying that LinkedIn to me is a business tool, not a social as much, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they will not be included. It will not be included in my list, but I'm going to say personally, 3 would be X.
Yeah.
X would be 3. I guess we call it X now. And it's really more like I followed it through the storms the other night. There's a couple follows. There's a like a Nashville weather, and then there's a Sumner weather, like
severe weather. Yeah,
that was better than the news.
Totally.
No offense to 2, 4, 5, and 17 in Middle Tennessee, but they were literally better than the news.
Yeah, for information like that in a informational way of getting it platform, right? I think X is great.
Yeah. So that's kind of I quit. Like there was I got way too involved in politics for like a short period of my life, and it like took up way too much time. So I pushed then Twitter to the back burner, but that would be third.
For me, I'm going to put Instagram at number 3. Okay. I like Instagram. I think it's got its purpose, but for me, I'm going to use it probably as number 3.
Okay.
Because, I'm going to share a picture there, but it's just a picture, right? Or a reel maybe.
Yeah.
Right. It's not high priority for me.
Yeah.
Okay, number 2, I'd say is YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah.
I like that pick for 2.
And do you use YouTube mostly for learning, for entertainment, a mix of both?
A mix of both, yeah. I mean, there's nothing you can't find out on YouTube. Like it was interesting because the dealership was going to charge me like $600 to turn off this little light on my car.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, all I'm going to do is drive it down there. You're going to do something.
Flip a switch.
And like I just YouTubed it, and there were a couple videos on there that showed you exactly how to do it. And you just put your key in, you turn it a certain way, you press the phone
key
button while the keys, and it turns it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube's a good one. I didn't think of YouTube personally as like a social media platform, but I guess
failed by the host.
I guess it truly is kind of a social media platform. But I'm equal to you, man. I probably use YouTube almost as much as any of them. Yeah. What's your number 2?
I'm copying Mark.
YouTube.
100% YouTube. And it's not. We don't use. I use a streaming service at home. It's not YouTube, but we watch a ton of stuff on YouTube. Like it could be there's some people that I follow in the outdoors that they'll have like Meat Eater is one of the shows that they release their new series on YouTube. So YouTube is for sure number 2, plus the information stuff on there. I mean,
see, I think a YouTube is more of like almost like a Netflix or something.
It's not Netflix.
I mean, it's like
there's so much more.
I know.
I mean, we're on YouTube. We're not on Netflix.
I know.
Maybe we will be one day.
Maybe.
We're going to have a roast of Jason.
The roast of Chad.
We're going to roast Jason.
I haven't seen that yet, by the way. Is it good?
I've seen some clips.
Okay. I got to watch that.
Yeah, it's not.
You know what I'm talking about? The roast of Tom Brady is on Netflix.
Yeah. It is not
Some
PG.
people have talked about
PG.
it. Yeah.
Watch it with your headphones in.
And then I'd say LinkedIn, again, my number 1, but that's just one I use the most.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, number 2 is I'm going to say LinkedIn. Number 2 for me. And that's just because my thoughts of the branding, getting the word out on the business, right? Talking to our B2B community, trying to help and mentor business professionals, hire people, all that stuff. I think it's an excellent platform. The growth that LinkedIn we have seen on it in the last 5-10 years has been tremendous. It's incredible. So for me, number 2 is going to be LinkedIn for sure.
Okay. Mark gave us his one. Mark's
LinkedIn.
Mark's a LinkedIn guy for number 1.
Yeah, and I think I know a lot of people that LinkedIn is number 1 for them. They're not on Facebook or anything actively very much. Maybe they got an account, but they're not on there actively. Yeah. And LinkedIn just speaks more to them, right, and who they want to talk to.
Yeah.
And I think LinkedIn is doing a great job. It's owned by Microsoft, by the way. So
do you know my
they're killing it. Your number
what
1? I'm going to say it's probably Instagram.
1,000% Instagram.
Yeah.
I was taking you for a TikTok guy.
No, I don't have TikTok. I don't have Snapchat.
What do you like most about Instagram? Your audiences or your followings are there?
Yeah.
What you're looking for?
Yeah, that's it. And I think who will not make my list. The social media platform that will be at the very bottom of my list.
Facebook.
Yes. Freaking hate. I hate Facebook. I hate everything about Facebook.
Well, Facebook and Instagram's
but it's
owned
so
by the same.
Yeah, they're the same, but they're not. It's a completely different environment on Instagram.
Yeah. For me, my number one is going to be the one you hate the most, which is Facebook.
I despise it.
And Facebook to me is the one I've been on the longest, which is why I enjoy it the most. But the thing that I really like about Facebook that maybe you haven't grasped or haven't gone towards yet is going to be the group and community side of Facebook.
Yeah, I'm out.
And whether it's the marketplace.
Oh, time out. I like marketplace.
Okay. Well, so it's good, right? It's like like the 2024 Craigslist.
Yeah, that does not mean I like Facebook. I like marketplace.
Well, you got to have Facebook to have marketplace.
That's the only reason I like it.
Yeah.
Jason is the reason that I have Facebook. Like he peer pressured me into Facebook.
You need to be present. You don't have to be on it, but you need to have a profile there.
For why?
To be seen. Because some people are only on Facebook.
We do quite a bit of advertising on Meta. And I just have found like the amount of junk that I have to go through before I see the actual posts that I really care about.
Preach, Brother Mark.
It's tough these days. Like,
preach, Brother Mark.
It is. You can limit that and train Facebook to not give you the junk, but it does take work.
It's the junk, and it's the somebody who's lived in. Okay, I'm gonna get on my soapbox for like two minutes of soapbox on Facebook. It's the person who's lived in X city for 41 years, and they go, "Okay, Facebook friends, best place to get a taco in Gallatin. Go." You freaking idiot. You've lived in Gallatin for 41 years. It's pretty much the same taco places that have been here since you were in elementary school. How about you just call your buddy?
Do you know any good doctors around here?
Yes. I need a podiatrist.
It's like you just respond back to each of those people in just one word.
Yes.
Google.
Yeah, Google. Or do you not have any friends?
Yeah.
Like, do you not have any friends that you can pick up the phone and say, "Hey, Mark, I'm going to be in Williamson County, man. Where would you recommend I get a taco?"
I think a lot of the people don't, right? There's maybe a lot of extroverts and people that just don't have friends on Facebook.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Or
don't know how to use Google.
That's my problem. And that is why Instagram is my pick.
Yeah.
Because it is so much less of that.
You can't make it that.
It can't be that.
Yeah, can't be
like
that.
it's impossible for it to be that. Right?
Yeah, for all of those negatives that Facebook has, they do a really good job on the community groups, the marketplace. And if you're an individual, right? Say you're an individual sales guy or you're trying to market your own business.
Yeah.
There's
if
not
you're a real estate agent or an insurance person.
Yeah. There's no other platform that you can reach a consumer on the same way.
Yeah, I would give you that.
Right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Now you talk to us, and we have ours, but like, my daughter wouldn't even know
Snapchat.
She didn't even know Facebook. She didn't even. She's like, "Yeah,
my daughter doesn't either."
Facebook,
yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
like, I'm looking at not even Instagram anymore. It's all about like TikTok.
Mine like
well, you don't graduate to Facebook till you're in your mid 20s or 30s.
Yeah,
40s.
Your parents are on. Your parents are on.
On Facebook.
And they're expecting, our kids to be on Facebook. Because why didn't she share any photos of what she's doing? It's like because they don't even know how to use Facebook.
They don't have Facebook.
Yeah.
Baylor doesn't have Facebook. Emma does. I mean, my kids are a junior and a freshman in high school. There's no Facebook. They both have Instagram.
Well, Facebook and Instagram has their version of Twitter now too, right?
Yeah, but
which is
anybody using it?
Some, but not very many at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's going to work or stay.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's our top 3 for the podium talk. Thank you for sharing, Mark.
Awesome.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you guys for inviting me to the podcast. Really enjoyed it.
You're welcome.
It's been a fun one.
Absolutely. Good to hear about your marketing, and hopefully we gave back to the community a little bit today on marketing. So until next time, guys.
And Facebook.
Yeah.
Disdain for Facebook.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate
you.
it. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.